Alright, we've been informed that now that we're back in Otaru, we can go through a different route if we're just dropping our purchases off and wanting to go back out into town. We're going to be here for another 4 hours, I think. Probably, I guess, more like 3, given how much time we've got. And we get aboard, and then they have to shove off and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, we'd have to get on, and that would be the end of the day. And we're not ready for that yet. That checking the map thing in the terminal building was a bit performative on my part. I know where I'm going, more or less, but I'm just giving the folks an idea of where I'm headed off. The funny part is, every time I mention stuff like GBR or Genghis Khan, even the take a shot of the canal right behind us. So not a whole lot to say about it, but it's here and it's kind of cool looking. So this is supposed to be a rather picturesque spot, although behind me not so much. We were hoping to go through a separate shopping arcade that way, but we seem to have gone past it based on the fact that we're right by the former Tamiya Railway. However, this will get us to just about the place where we want to be to find the Genghis Khan restaurant that we're thinking of going to. Now, as long as we're along this route, might as well admire the foliage. We've got a lot of, I'm gonna say, peonies in bloom here. That's really kind of cool. Not exactly cherry blossoms, but not bad at all. We've had to cross over the tracks, and in the process, passing by a little bit more flora to take note of. Orange stuff kind of looks like firecrackers. Some of these places along this old railroad look like they're falling apart. There's a good reason there's that keep out sign. And a little further on, it looks like we're seeing a house being torn down. Some of these things have been abandoned too far to be Akiya anymore. Akiya, for those who aren't familiar, has to do with abandoned houses here in Japan, which are a major problem since the country is suffering a population decline. These places are offered for cheap, or next to nothing, to foreigners if they want to buy it and fix it up, but it's a little bit more difficult than just doing that. So whether that works to get investment in here or not remains to be seen. Sometimes I've been intrigued, but not enough to actually do anything. Besides, I've got so much that I'm connected to back at home, I don't see that happening anytime soon. For someone like me who cannot read Japanese, or at least not much of it, I'm really not entirely confident about this, but those words up over the lamb are the ones that I'm looking for. I mean, phantom lamb of all things. So we're going to try and check this out. Well, good news and bad news. The good news is this was the place we were looking for. The bad news is, despite whatever Copilot was saying, this place isn't open. Actually, not only Copilot, but Google Maps said it opened at 11 o'clock. Or maybe it's that they're not serving Genghis Khan at this hour. It does seem that some of the other places are not open until like 4 or 5. So, yeah. That's disappointing. I have no idea where to go from here, though. Well, as disappointing as that was, it does give us a little time to walk down Sakai Machidori Street, which is one of their largest shopping districts, and it's more of an actual main street. No awning, it's just an actual street lined with shops on either side. it feels more like an American main street, despite the fact that those are starting to disappear these days too. We did spot a place offering steak cutlets, or something akin to gyukatsu, which might be appealing if nothing else comes to mind, because again, don't get a chance for that. But we did have our hearts set on something else that was more specifically Hokkaido, and so I'm not sure we're ready to give up just yet. Am I? If only Daniel was more into seafood. They've got the options.
I wasn't gonna refuse it.
Well, we just passed by a souvenir shop that had all sorts of local delicacies, but not kuma niku, so I had to take a pass. Well, after finding a Wi-Fi link, oh my goodness, thank heavens for the internet, we seem to have found another alternative, one that was actually closer to the ship by a long chalk. But that means sort of redoubling our steps by a slightly different route, just for variety's sake. The Otaru Kita Togarashi. And we'll see how this goes. And we still have to try and shop for bear meat after this. So here's hoping that second time's a charm, huh? We seem to have found the place. Well, this is mildly confusing. We go in this hallway and there's a whole bunch of other restaurants. I'm not sure where we're supposed to come in at. So maybe we go out front again and go in through that front door. Oh no, maybe this is it. Well, it turns out this is the place after all. Cool. Let's see what we can do with this. She just oiled up the pan so it can heat up. I see. So she's putting on the fat first in order to flavor both the grill and the vegetables. Okay. And then we just... let's cook it first, though. No, you don't want to mess with raw meat. There we go. Let's start there. It's actually a little hard to know when you've achieved that proper amount of doneness, really. This is definitely sort of like yakiniku taken to a slightly more exotic extreme. Well, I'll give it a shot. I don't want that thinner one. Nope. Here we go. It looks like it's done. It's all up to me anyway, so. Pretty straightforward. It almost feels like it needs something. A little bit more of that. Oh, that's right. And then to dip it in the sauce. Okay, here we go. So let's try it with the sauce this time around. Again, I hope that's sufficiently done, but no way to tell until you actually eat it. That does add it. And then more meat. A little smoky, a little, dare I say cheesy? I don't know, that seems really weird to say that. Again, it's an experience. And not that far removed from yakiniku, to be honest. It's just the way it's done. Letting the sort of the juices slide down into the rim of the helmet, if you will. And there's really only so many pieces you can cook at one time. So it's a slightly slower process. But it does mean that you don't eat so much all at once, because you have to keep cooking it. I mean, we really haven't made a dent in the meat plate yet. There's also some seasonings here. It's kind of like a red pepper, but I'm going to try it on a slice right over here. Let's see what it's like. Let's see what that pepper slice is like now. Okay. It's like it's almost falling apart. Okay, it takes a moment to hit. And then when you get to the back of your throat, you're like, oh, ow. Not dangerously hot, I didn't overload it. But it is, don't think I'm gonna do that again. I'll stick with the sauce. We just keep adding pieces and moving some of the fat on there to just grease the helmet as we go along. And the drippings just run into the sprouts and the onions, giving them a little extra flavor. Although I guess we need to toss it right in again. I'm going to try one more thing on here with the sesame. Just and I put that on one of the pieces, and we're going to test that out. A lot more challenging than it looks. You can see the sesame on there. Let's see what this tastes like. Honestly, the dispenser grates the stuff, and so it's not nearly as obvious. You don't have the mouthfeel of the sesame seeds. And as far as the flavor goes, it kind of disappears. A little bit disappointing. Well, gotta try these seasonings and see what it's like. Well, as fallbacks go, we did pretty well for ourselves, and we've still got a couple more hours before we need to be on the ship. I'll be honest, it is not my favorite meal, mostly because I really didn't know how well I was cooking things. But I will say that after a while, you leave those onions and bean sprouts in there and they practically caramelize. It's very tasty. The lamb was okay. The sauce made it work real well. And the peppers and the sesame, not so much, but you know, they were trying, I know. Yeah, it's one of those experiences you have to have in order to know whether you like it or not. It's good, but I will say I think we would have done better with the gyukatsu. We would have enjoyed it more and we'd probably be a lot fuller. On the other hand, maybe we want to be hungry enough to enjoy something when dinner rolls around on the ship. We were wondering whether we'll want anything. I think now we might. But all things considered, for 3,400 yen, that's maybe a little over 20 bucks, if that. Actually, it might not even be that much. Still, that's so weird for, you know, 2 people to eat these days. That's not bad, and it's an experience. So, which is what we're here for, the experiences.